Joe's not here. Is somebody going to introduce Cory? All right, so Cory, so Cory Tobin has our presentation today on Thomasville Parks and Rec. And Cory, I've known you for a few years, but I'm not going to bother to mess up your background unless your dad could probably tell some good stories, though. You want to skip those? All right. So we'll skip the stories, and if you will, welcome Cory Tobin.
I appreciate y'all letting me get up here and speak today about some of the good things happening in the recreation department. And I apologize to management and Jason, Chief Myers, about having to hear me again. They have to hear me speak a lot, so I apologize about that. But we've got some really neat things going on in our community and our recreation department. Not just the major project that I'm sure you guys have ridden past and can see that progress. There are some photos of that, and we're very excited to share those. But some of the other things that we've implemented throughout our department that I think are getting us ahead of where we were in the past and a little bit more accessible to serving our community. And that's the key of what we do and why we do what we do. So you'll see that in the next slides. So first, just what we did change our mission this year. And we wanted to make it simple and something that could be useful for our staff. We worked with our recreation committee chair, Jared Dunbar, and our recreation committee to come up with a mission that we want to just provide quality recreational opportunities that better our community. And these are the key things: through people, parks, and programs. That's what we do. We wanted it useful for our staff to know what our strategies and what we're trying to achieve. And we're always just trying to serve our people, our parks, and our programs. So that's really the ethos of it. For those who've created a vision statement, they're really nice and really wordy. And so I'm not going to reread that to you because I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's what we want to be. It's, a goal for a park system or a local government in general is to be a sustainable practice. In 30 years, 29 years, however long left in my service to the community in this role or whatever, you want that it's going to continue past you. So we wanted it to be a sustainable park system that really enhances the quality of life of our community. And you'll see that through these next slides of us being a part of that, as long as our other services, our fire service and police and all the other amenities that the city provides. So again, our service areas, our people, parks, and programs. That's what we're focusing on throughout this presentation. And so here's our people. What we want to do is we want to, anything that we do is affecting our community through our people. They're either using a playground, they're using a park, they're using a walking trail. They'll be swimming in a pool in the future, or it'll be our after-school kids who come for a special day at City Hall. That's just a cross-generational thing where we, want to bring our kids out into the community and get to partner within our city and without. We got communities and schools that are partnering with our summer camp this summer to bring some innovative programming to the summer camp. Again, our PD comes across. Rotary obviously does a lot of things with our cooking classes and the COOK acronym that Mary Jane and Molly have worked on. So we're really just trying to impact people through experiences. Our parks, we have 17 park spaces. And for those of you who go, that's in Thomasville's park system. It is. That is a memorial park. That is a bridge that will get you to the 6th basket of our disc golf course. So that's along the creek bed there in Memorial Park. And we're really trying to utilize our Linktree QR code here. And then I'll explain that a little bit more to you. But if you do hold your phones up to it at the end, it'll show you how we're trying to reach our community through placement of this throughout our park system. This is an example of what that is. So we've actually created new park rules signs that we hope people will actually read. We had the dated signage that really wasn't as friendly. We really, with discussion with management, wanted something that said welcome to our parks. We didn't have that. It was more of an industrial feel to our park signs. And so this is now more of a thing that you'll see throughout our park system that allows folks to know information as well as know the rules that we want you to adhere to. But a lot of those are just obeying the law, so we can start there and then go from there. But we wanted them accessible, and one of the key features of it, and Judy, I don't know if Judy's here, but she's on the Crime Stoppers board, is we wanted, sometimes we have folks that want to report things and want to tell us things, but are afraid to just make the call on site in person. So we wanted this link tree to be useful. So if folks are in the park and they scan that QR code, they're going to be able to find ways to reach our Facebook, where we push a lot of social media, a lot of information, our website, the city website, our code of conduct that we hope that they're adhering to, and then Crime Stoppers tip portal, where they can actually go ahead and relay to us things they see happening that they are not, that are inappropriate. And so they don't have to make the call. They don't have to, but if they're seeing constant behavior that they'd like to report, they can do it that way. And then also a citizen request form is a way that we hope to engage the community. It's hard to see all 84 acres. And so if you see an issue or a safety issue, we want the city and the citizens to help us identify those. And we feel that we can do that through that form program. So these are just a few things in our park space as well. These drones, these Sambas are things that the Children at Play initiative have supported to install at our ballpark community center playground. The playground there was the only playground. Coach Freeman in his tenure had a huge Partif grant there, and that whole area was upfit in 2008. So when the Children at Play initiative went through, that playground was essentially new. And so now the Children at Play initiative through Rotary has touched all of our park playground spaces. And so that was a neat way to add that there. And that is a great photo. If you ride by, you might not see them around just yet. We're working with our public works to concrete those in. But that's a way that Rotary is impacting. And that's a themed idea of, if we can start adding this infrastructure outside of all these great playgrounds that the 2012 push created, we can continue to enhance those through amenities like this into the future with our Children at Play initiative. And the neat thing about those are you start thinking about cognitive development of motor skills and play and music and those kind of things. It's just a neat way for kids to be able to interact in our park spaces. Another thing that we're proud of, it's not the fact that the city has cannons, but it is the fact that we have the cannons that are now completely refurbished. And that was in conjunction with our Memorial Day committee. They sandblasted those all the way down to the original steel, came back through, and a special type of painting. I don't know exactly what it's called, but they're out. It's almost like an auto detail painting. So those are brand new. And I've got some photos of that process there at what we're now honing as Veterans Point. And I'll explain that a little bit more when I talk about Memorial Park. Is that Veterans Point is an area that not only we have the additional a refurbishment of those cannons, but it's an event where a lot of ceremonies are held. I know Gracie Boland came and spoke about her flag retirement pit and the addition to that space as well. So it's really something that during Memorial Day and hopefully throughout the year, even Veterans Day and other times, those type of events can be held, and it's a great backdrop. When those flags are up around the ring of that area, it's beautiful. So we're very proud of that. In our programs, obviously, there's a variety of programs. We have our, again, youth-directed programs. These are some of our spring break campers who went on a field trip to Fox 8 to learn all the ins and outs of that studio. But we have a senior club meeting that is kicking off right now. Summer camp's ongoing, fun on the runs, food trucks downtown, special event drive-in movies, and really pickleball play every day at our community center. And so we're really just trying to span the reach of youth athletics, baseball, all kinds of different things that we're trying to do through our programming, and innovative programming beyond that, using our facilities for Sisters of Hope is a group that comes to mind that meets once a month, that get together, and it's women who utilize our office space to meet. So these are just another couple of examples of what we're doing here. We had youth soccer that wrapped up. That's actually an outdoor movie that we hosted at Finch Field. In our facility there at Finch Field, we hosted an outdoor movie there, and we've been hosting drive-in movies at Cushwa Stadium. This was one of the scariest things we've done all spring. I know that Rotary had a huge derby event, but my program director, Molly Hussey, also had a derby event that encouraged our seniors to run through the ballpark community center. I was very, very hesitant to do that, but she promised that everyone would stay upright, and they did, but they had little pool noodles that were shaped like horses and did some racing. But everyone made it out safely and on 2 feet. So now here's the update of our aquatics and community center. You know, I have presented this about a year ago, I believe, but we've got some great updates. I want to thank Dr. Williams as our second site superintendent for keeping me posted as he drives by. He's very pleased with the activity that's happening on site right now, as we are as well. This is the prototype of what you'll see. Again, just as a reminder, to the right side, to the right photo there, you'll see garage door bays, which will be birthday party rooms and that kind of thing. It'll also be able to pull partitions to be a full room for the community. Then you have your infrastructure for the pool. It will be a zero grade entry pool that will then have splash pad features in the front portion of it, and then a 4 foot to 12 foot depth 5-lane pool on the back side that will feature a 16-foot water slide as well for the community. And then a shelter that the Finch Foundation generously helped sponsor. The front of the facility there on the left side, again, on the right side is more lobby infrastructure, bathrooms, locker rooms for the participants. Left side of the building will actually be a multi-use room. It'll be a meeting room primarily, as well as a permanent location for our council to have their chambers. So there'll be a dais that's installed in that front room there, and our council and official city functions and city meetings will be held within this community center as well. So it'll be one that is technologically sound and updated, and something that'll really put a good space on our city meetings and put a place for them to be held appropriately. So that's just the overview of what you see that should be happening on the facility. You'll have 56 spot parking lot with some drop-off area and a handicap zone. You'll also have the building and the pool. And just for most of you in the room, obviously you're Thomasville folks, you ride by the facility and what's happening there. It's going to go from the woods to Stadium Drive. So the pool deck almost extends all the way to the woods behind where the pool existed. It flows forward, the parking lot flows forward, and then without officially saying that the walking trail and things are going to be funded through the ARP funding potentially, there's still votes and things to happen that are above my pay grade, but we're looking to add all the amenities to this site to continue to be thoughtful with its development. There's just a rendition of what that slide will look like. It is 16 feet. In our planning, we didn't realize that made it an amusement by the code of North Carolina. So we do have to get a separate code for that slide, which is great. But it is 14 feet is the height that's allowable in a pool permit only. So it's an amusement that we're bringing to our pool. That's right. So this is a little mini Emerald Point, I believe, is what's coming out of all this. But then your splash pad features will be something that we're very excited about having up front, because that's an area, most of you are familiar with that pool and what it was like previously. It was 3 feet to 12 feet without really an area for our youth to play, the babies to play. And so now we've kind of made it more accessible for them as well. So this is this is June 1st. I went on site this morning and snapped some photos of the pool, so it'll be more of that. This is June 1st. Overhead drone footage, and again, thank you to Chief Myers and his staff for making this happen. We have pilots in our workforce for the city of Thomasville who are able to take these pictures with a drone. They have pilot's license, so they get some really cool shots of our project. So you can see how expansive it is, and I think the neat thing about that is it went from 2 rectangular spaces with grass to an area that's really, again, going to take over that whole area at the front. And the nice thing about this, the playgrounds were things that were sponsored by the Children at Play initiative, but it also, we're upfitting that fence line. Will be a nice 4-foot aluminum style fence to match the pool. So it's not just enhancing our pool, it's enhancing the whole park space of Memorial Park. Neat feature on the side of the building is a public restroom that will face the playground. So now there will be a restroom that's not on site to service the families while they're out there using the playground. So again, thoughtful planning to the property. There's another look at it. From the back side, you can see it's an L-shaped style pool, and then our sloped roofs, no flat roofs. That's a good thing in architecture. And so the water will drain off appropriately. Doc, you tell me if I'm missing anything that you've seen on site. This is a look of the pool. It's huge. We didn't really realize, oh, well, we did realize, I guess we were building it, but if you've been to the YMCA, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but it's 5-lane, 25-yard pool, correct? Yes. So that's, this portion of the outdoor pool here is 5-lane, 25-yard pool. So if you have the YMCA pool in your mind, that's what sits there. Then you still have the L-shaped area to the front that grades down. So all that area there for 3 feet to nothing, to 0 depth, will be here at the front. They didn't forget to cut out this portion of the earthwork. That's actually an island that we've created that will have a gap there with rope to get to our 4 feet depth. But we do have some non-swimmers that utilize our facility, and we want to have a buffer there to keep everybody with their head above the water. Just looking at how tall my dad is. I was like, well, I'm sorry. I went right at him, and that was my joke. But I held that one too. I let it go though. But 4 feet, you're still safe. Yeah. Sorry about that. So the other ARP plan projects, hopefully we've discussed. Some of these are in very initial phases. Some of them have got a little bit more legs to them. The one thing is a Myers Park playground renovation. It's about 25 years old, so it's time to look at that playground. It was one of the newer playgrounds when we went through the process of our revitalization in 2012. Enhancing our farmers market area. I know that some of you probably shop there, but we're looking at some repaving of parking lots there and some entryways that make it to where you don't have to walk around the structure to get to it from our parking lot on East Guilford Memorial Park Drive. Park restrooms are another big thing. We've tried to address that this summer with portable restrooms, and we'll continue to do that until we get a firm plan to utilize restrooms near to our playgrounds, because we hate for the kids to get out there and need to use the bathroom. That's pretty much the end of playing once you have to go potty. So you're either doing it running to find somewhere to use the bathroom or in the woods. And so we're trying to curtail that. Again, we talked about the trail and the street enhancements to Stadium Drive. Purpose of that is to make you feel like you turn into a park when you turn into Stadium Drive. For those who grew up here, Stadium Drive is a cut through to get to the high school, and you can get to about 45, 50 miles an hour. I wouldn't know, but you can. And we're trying to slow people down. We have disc golfers walking through the park. You have other communities like Archdale with Creekside and those parks with acreage. We have 28 acres here. And so we want you to feel like when you turn into Stadium Drive, you've turned into Memorial Park. And then that will give a feel of a little bit more, hopefully enhance some more appropriate speeds, but also utilize that whole space and understand what it really is. When the Community Foundation in the 40s put it together, there's a master plan from Salem to Colbeth. And it's a really neat master plan to look at because we're kind of following that path still. But they had an idea, and it's being used. And then one thing is, where do we go after we finish our major project? And that's to look at a comprehensive plan for our department. We have some deferred maintenance that we still need to address, and we want to be able to check those boxes. And we want to go through that to see not only what we think we need, but the community thinks we need. And then also, those are key for stakeholders when you're looking at grants and you're looking at support. They want to see that plan. You can have an idea, but where is it? That shows what you really want to do. So those are, again, just kind of rehashing on those. That's an example of a quote that we received for the Myers Park playground. I know in the bulletin it said a themed playground, and what we're learning is people go to Doak Park because of the way that they have the surface at their playground. We have multiple playgrounds in the community and park spaces, but you'll end up going to Memorial Park for a reason. You go there because there's disc golf there. You go there for the amenity. And so we're trying to be thoughtful with the addition of the playground to Myers Park with the rubber uni surface, makes less maintenance, as well as a tree. It doesn't have to be that, but they're theming them a lot now, where you have pirate ships and all kinds of things. So that's like a tree fort style playground that you can do. And it's really interesting what sticks in the kids' heads of what they want. They know where they see, and it can make it more of a destination. That's another example of that walking path. The neat thing about that walking path is that there's a greenway from the YMCA all the way to Unity Street, and then it crosses the Unity Street and can tie into sidewalk infrastructure there. But the High Point Regional MPO plan actually located this area of Stadium Drive, is all we lack to connect sidewalk from the top of Colbreth Avenue all the way to our downtown. And we don't have any infrastructure along Stadium Drive to walk on right now, even when we had the old facility. It was you're walking in the grass to get down Stadium Drive. And the more we're using it for playgrounds and events and things of that nature, we wanted that addition. But it is part of a greater greenway idea throughout the city. And it's just another piece of that puzzle to get there. And so we really try to be thoughtful about that. And that's an example of how it ties into that regional plan from downtown all the way to the high school. And so it would connect really, I think that from a Google Maps perspective, from the new Aquatics and Community Center to the YMCA, that loop is almost right at 3 miles. So it's a 5K greenway kind of thing, which would be very great for events, as well as just initiating that activity with members at the YMCA, as well as the community that just come park at our parking lot and jump on and have some exercise. That's all I have. It was pretty quick and pretty robust, but that is, again, our link tree. If you don't follow us on social media and you're on it, I would ask that you try to. I think you can see some of the good things we're doing. I'm very proud of my staff at the moment. We're in a little bit of transition with staff. We're bringing some new folks in. We've had some retirements, but I know that our program director, Molly Hussey, she spoke with you guys before. She's amazing. She's a rock star for our facility or our city. And does a lot of great things. Capricia Davis as well, who's in office. If you need anything or have any questions, she's a hub for us there. So I'm really fortunate. And I can't forget, the foundation of everything we do is our maintenance staff. No matter what program or what event we're hosting, it starts at on the grounds, preparing a ball field or preparing a building, setting up the rooms. And our maintenance staff help do that. And so they're key and vital to what we do. And that's Randy Chase and his guys, Dustin and Tyler Steve. And they're fantastic too. So we couldn't do it without them. But are there any questions?
Completion date of the new facility.
I knew that would come. Right now, we're it's projected at the moment to be late fall. I would be comfortable saying late fall. The good thing about that is the foresight to create a community center and not just a pool. And so we will cut a ribbon when it's finished. We will be able to host activity immediately. And we plan on the community being able to use it. So now the pool comfortably, I would say Memorial Day 2023 will be going down slides unless somebody wants to have a polar plunge or something of that nature. We might go work that out with fire department or something. The Rotary fundraiser could be a polar plunge. There you go. Yes, sir.
Finchfield, the Parks and Rec have any kind of responsibility at Finchfield?
Yeah, Finchfield is our facility. So we oversee the entire Finchfield complex. We have a leasee, the High Toms are a leasee who utilize it from May 1st to October 31st. And then we all have a contract with our school system to oversee that. But we're excited about opportunities to use that for our programming as far as the movies. We're starting to have some conversations with some local JUCO colleges. We're in region 10 of the NJCAA, and we're excited about, we've already booked a spring ball game with the Florence Darlington Tech Stingers, who are going to be playing the Patrick Henry Community College in April at our facility. And I talked to them about potentially putting in a bid for their regional tournament on behalf of the city. So that is a city facility that we operate. Yes, sir.
That game the other day, behind me in the ticket line, and they were bragging on it. They had been, again, not before they were really bragging on it.
We're really proud of that facility, and that a lot of that responsibility is lent to the guy right beside you and his effort and what they did to that facility to really make it premier. And we want to take more and more ownership of that and really paint the picture that there's multiple things that can happen out there We did just wash the entire concourse, trying to keep it, don't lose all the energy that was created in 2008. And during that time frame of that part of grant, we want to continue to focus on it is one of the nicest baseball facilities in the Triad, hands down, in my opinion, especially amateur baseball.
Does the community center or ballpark stay pretty well utilized this time?
Yes, sir. It's one that's used. We booked that facility. So we book our Strickland Center, our Recreation Center, and our Ballpark Community Center for weekend rentals for the public. And we have seen, we're about at 130% in our revenue goal this year for our facilities. And that there is not an open Saturday for our Ballpark Community Center until I think early November now. That hasn't been booked. So, and then two, COVID was so lovely. Everyone needed a little bit more space for their meetings. And so we host a lot of meetings now for the city and our brother and sister departments and other committees and commissions. And it's a space for that. So it makes a lot of sense, but it's used a lot.
Cory, I want to add on to that real quick. At our Parks and Recreation Committee meeting yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, regarding rentals of that facility and hopefully the new community center as well. There are quite a few people that are outside of this zip code that are renting that.
Yeah.
When they put that reservation in, that home address zip code, it may have even been, was it a majority? I don't know.
Well, there's, I mean, just a couple of weekends ago, just discussion between our office support and myself was that eight rentals over the weekend and 7 were non-residents. So we're seeing a lot, and that's one thing of our fee schedule. And we're being very thoughtful with how we do that to make sure that we're not overbooking these without really focusing on our residents first. So we in our fee schedule that has not been approved yet, we have addressed some non-resident fees for our facilities to help gain back some of that, to make it more equitable for our residents. And it's not slowing it down. It's still very affordable.
Shows there's demand.
Oh, absolutely. And we're seeing that a lot. It really has actually increased after COVID. It never really was that busy, but it's something that's a constant use of all of our facilities are essentially 7-day-a-week facility.
Well, let me make one comment. Keith, you correct me if I'm wrong, but Keith, the Cory's comment about you is the reason why we have grandchildren.
That's exactly right.
Because we love it.
I just started looking at those guys. I mean, if you guys look right here and you see these guys standing against that earthworm there, I was just looking at him when I was saying that. And that's just what went through my head. That's, I mean, there's some, yeah. There we go. So anyways, that kind of gets scatterbrained a little bit, but thank y'all all so much. If y'all ever need anything from our department, yes.
One more thing.
Oh.
With Rotary's involvement so much with Children Play Initiative and playgrounds, that, what was that, 10 years ago, the majority of that initiative? Can you, yeah, okay, so about 10 years ago, can you speak to where those playground structures are in their lifespan at this point?
I think we're definitely at a precipice of making sure that we are taking care of some of the features on them. We're getting to that point. We just pressure washed Oak Park yesterday. But you do see some sun wear and some of those things, even from our play structures at Memorial Park. I think specifically they're a royal darker blue top. And so you're starting to see some fade. The sun is one of the hardest things on a playground. I mean, you put them in a space where you can put them, and then they're out in the sun. So we are trying to start identifying that to not lose the longevity of them. And then some things could be under warranty. And so you have that ability as well. But we are trying to get through and identify getting ahead of some of these things to not get to the point of stairs starting to rust away. And that's kind of what we're facing at Myers Park. So it's like, well, we need to address that safety quicker. But there's ways to add amenities through Play World and Burke and these play companies that you can add certain things without having to reinvent the whole wheel, because the infrastructure is sturdy. It's just some of it's plastic. I mean, you have to consider that. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Or if I could just say one, thing. First of all, I really appreciate your leadership and leadership of your recreation board for the vision of this. I know it's something Bill and I talked about years and years and years ago of dreaming this for our city, and I really appreciate that we're starting to see that. And I just wanted everyone to know that the Rotary Board is committed to continuing our partnership with Parks and Recreation and supporting this growth in the playgrounds. And that's something I'm very proud of, is the partnership that we've had. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. But not many places had what happened with with the city and the Rotary clubs. And so when you go to these conferences and you speak to people, you realize how great of a park system we have, but a community support of our department. We really couldn't do it without that. I really appreciate that. But recreation gets to touch everyone, and that's what's really cool about it. And it's very similar to the mission of what the Rotary Club's trying to do. Absolutely. Thank you.